Good morning, Terry here again. This is my usual Thursday morning recording where I just simply share what I'm thinking, what I'm going through, what I've been learning, what I've been teaching. This week I'm thinking about attitude, thinking about self-care, care of others. There's a lot of stuff going on with my wife and me right now. Anita, my wife, is retiring after seems like 100 years, but 40 plus years. So for her, it's letting staff know and her clients, cleaning up stuff, making sure that by June 30, when she's done, that everything is cleaned up, figuring out how to hand off different tasks to different attorneys in the firm. So there's a lot going on with her. And a parallel to that, not directly related to it, a parallel to that, we're just beginning preparations to move from Southern California back to Southwest Michigan for the third time in our life. But there's thinking about getting a home there, selling our home here, staging the place, just all those things going on. So there's a lot going on. And thinking about how do we work through the next months with all these transitions going on, with the added stress, the added agenda, things to get done. And a few things come to mind. First one is self-care. This is a very, very good time for self-care, for taking those times aside. For me this morning and yesterday morning, sitting for 2 or 3 hours early in the morning, just breathing, thinking about things other than moving or retirement, or I'm learning how to work with a website for the first time. How do you design one? How do you change it? How do you fix it? That kind of stuff. So getting away from all that kind of, as much as I can, from all that daily stuff, taking a step back for self-care, just for breathing, for Anita and me to go out to, we went out to In-N-Out Burger for the first time in months, and just sat outside in the sunshine and enjoyed our #2 with onions, grilled onions. So it's just a time to sit and relax. So self-care becomes very important. And the busier we are, it's possible that the less self-care we take, because we're so busy. The busier we are, the more important it is for self-care. Second thing I thought of was attitude. I had a therapist decades ago. I asked him, what's the difference between terror and excitement? And he said, sat back, thought about it for a moment, and one word answer, he said, definition. Definition. So what's the difference between the terror or the stress or the urgency or the complicated business of moving, selling and buying and moving companies and finances and all this kind of thing? What's the difference between that becoming a terror or a hassle or something very negative, or an exciting process, an adventure? Well, definition. There are lots of things cannot control. Can't control, what properties will show up in Southwest Michigan, or what buyers will show up here, and what the final price will be. Can't control all that. But one thing that I can do a lot to control is my attitude. And I think of attitude as defining it. That doesn't mean I always succeed. Doesn't mean just because I decide this is going to be an exciting time. There aren't times that I get irritated or overstressed. But generally, if I just keep remembering, I'm going to define this as an exciting time, as an adventure. That's defining my attitude. So whatever you or I go through, self-care, just making sure that we're breathing, that we're taking those times, that we're doing those things that we really enjoy, especially as a family, as a couple, to do some things together that relax us, that we just have fun doing. They can be little things or big things, whatever. So it's self-care, attitude, and then the third one is being very intentional about my care for others. I've noticed in people, and one in particular the last days, where stress led that person to be less caring, more edgy, more angry. It's almost like projecting their inner stress on someone else. And it's being extra careful to be simply kind, to say, I need to be intentional about being kind right now because there might be more stress in my life. So it's self-care, but also care for others and intentional. And knowing too that the primary recipient of my care right now, in addition to myself, needs to be Anita, because she's going through a lot of stressful time as well, or anxious time, or a lot of transitions. So it's self-care, care for others, and then defining attitude. I wonder which of those you are particularly good at, or which one of those you just look for a lot of potential to learn into, to live into yourself, to believe into yourself. So whatever transitions you're going through, whatever especially stressful times, I encourage you just to think back. They step back a ways to look at it and think, what can I control? Probably a lot you can't, but some things you can, including the care, including your attitude. So that's what I'm thinking about and working on, perhaps for the next several months during all these transitions and all this kind of thing going on. To remember, this is an exciting time. This is something that we chose and something that we can endure or something that we can anticipate and thoroughly enjoy. I'm hoping that we can hold to that. Have a great week.